Been a crazy few months for you, right? I mean, how have you just been dealing with the roller coaster? I mean, I know that Florida show where you're supposed to fight Jacare, it feels like a long time ago, but maybe not so much for you.
Yeah, man, shit happens. Luckily they caught it before it went down, and apparently I got more famous for wishing the guy well, which is weirdest shit I've ever seen before.
Well, I think people were. I assume you're referencing to the very nice message you sent to Jacare after the fight was, called off officially and everything. But I thought that was a very nice thing to say and completely appropriate for your spot. You thought you got too much attention for that or something, maybe?
Yeah, I mean, like, what else am I supposed to say? Like,
Yeah,
fuck you, you piece of shit. Like, what else am I supposed to say? It's just
yeah,
weird, man. It's like, what? I don't know. It's just weird to me.
yeah.
But I hope he recovers, and I think he is. And yeah, shit happens.
Yeah, so if you can, I know maybe you don't want to relive that because it probably wasn't the greatest experience, but if you can go back a little bit, just like how far out from the fight, or I guess the like official word that we got on that Friday night, were you aware there might be a problem here? Was it as early as the face-off, and is that why you guys were standing so far apart during the face-off?
No, it was literally the night before. I think around like 8 o'clock. I was getting ready for my workout. As I'm walking down, I got the word from Safe, and my teammate Ryan, who was fighting. So none of the coaches knew. There was three coaches in my corner, and he was the only one that knew about it. And he told me. I mean, I broke down a little bit because you put so much into it, but collect myself really quick, and the game plan switched to help out Ryan. Ryan didn't even know. I got in the room and he's all excited, like, man, you know, we're actually finally fighting on the same card, and I'm like, yeah, yeah, we are. And I just had to keep a straight face. I'm warming him up. I'm training him. I had to switch my mindset right away to get him ready. Meanwhile, no one knew about it.
That's crazy. Was the hardest part? I mean, obviously getting any fight canceled, especially that close out. But there were some stories that came out. I think ESPN did a really nice feature talking about your training for that event and how you were, living in the gym and really dedicated to getting yourself prepared. Is that probably one of the harder parts of it to digest the fact that you put in all that work? I know you guys work hard for any fight, but you seem to really, do everything you could under the circumstances.
Uh, I mean, I can't take anything away from it. I put in the work. It didn't happen. So you just kind of learn to just roll with the punches. It's just like a real MMA match. Things aren't going to go your way. So it's like, all right, how do I readjust, collect myself, and just stay positive, stay motivated, stay ready? And that's the coolest thing about mixed martial arts, that unfortunately a lot of people never understand. They just see the highlights and punches and kicks, but they don't understand what's going on in the background. So that was a fight because I had to collect myself. I mean, I dedicated so much being isolated with quarantine and COVID and not being able to train properly and low on calories because I couldn't burn them a certain way. So I just had to readjust right away. And luckily, I had right people in my corner, people like my mom, who pretty much said, listen, your disappointment is God's appointment. And now looking back, it's like, all right, it didn't happen, but it brought me to a better place. I'm fighting the number 4 ranked guy, which is Yoel. So I'm pretty happy about that. I've wanted Yoel for so long, but the politics in the UFC, they always, yeah.
For sure. And just a few last things on the Florida cancellation, everything. It sounds like they took care of you pretty nicely, right? The UFC, they made things right with you in terms of, giving you payment and everything.
Yeah, they did. Yeah, I mean, I think they gave me my show, which was, expected. I mean, I made weight. I was there. I was fine. I did everything. And I think they took care of Jacare too. So thank you, UFC.
Yeah. Was that one part you said about like maybe the thing with Ryan being their help because it allowed you to switch gears a little bit? But is that maybe one of the hardest parts about any fight cancellation that close? You put in all the work, you're prepared, you're probably shifting into that place you need to be to get into a fight, and then it doesn't happen, and you don't have that release. Is that like something that's kind of hard to digest?
It was. I remember just shaking.
Yeah.
I mean, I was shaking. I was in the back and I was just shaking. I was getting tired really quick because I think I was just, the anxiety behind it, and I was just trying to keep a straight face. It's like getting bad news about some family member and have to still go out there and perform, and I still had to go out there and perform, and it sucked at the given time. I wasn't even motivated, man, and I went back to my room. I didn't even want to see the fights. I was like, man, screw all this stuff. This sucks. You just dedicate so much, and it's just taken away from you. But what I really learned from it, because one of the cool things my mom taught me was to pay attention. It's like, what is this teaching you? What you can get out of it, And I'm like, all right. It was a moment and experience, so hold on to that moment and experience and take it forward. And I think I benefit so much from that isolation, man. Isolation is a gift. I know a lot of people don't like themselves when they get to live with themselves or their spouse or their fucking kids, but isolation did something really good for me. And being in that gym, just that uncomfortable, I mean, it was like a deep Ellum, which is kind of a fucked up place in Dallas, I think. I mean, I had to look outside to make sure my car was there all the time. At one point, I had to park my car blocks away, one of the ESPN guys' house, and I had to walk late at night to come back, and it was sketchy, man. But you know what? It was one of those uncomfortable situations where I'm glad I went through. And I'm cool with being uncomfortable. Plus, I lived in a gym years ago when I was homeless, so it was easy to kind of readjust.
Okay. So what did you do like immediately, I guess, after you left Florida? Did you go back and were you already thinking about fighting, or were you just like, I have a bad taste in my mouth, I need to get away and reset a little bit after everything I've done over the past few months?
No, I went right back into training. I got back to Vegas and set up some schedule with Bo Sandoval from the UFC Performance Institute. Stay tuned, try not to get overweight. Uh, Keep my cardio and my strength up to par, because I knew when I came back to Dallas, working with my strength and conditioning coach out here, you take a week off, you'll feel it. So I wanted to stay consistent. Plus, with the UFC and COVID happening, a lot of people you see is like getting tested positive. I'm telling my teammates and telling them friends, stay ready, man. You never know. UFC signing guys, re-signing guys, so they're trying to make fights happen because COVID could be like, oh, screw you. So I was just telling everybody to stay ready while I was trying to stay ready.
Yeah, I mean, look what's happening this weekend with Jorge Masvidal stepping in on 6 days' notice against Gilbert Burns. So yeah, you're 100% right there. So I guess how long ago did you first catch wind? Hey, they're interested in maybe having me fight Yoel Romero.
How long? What?
How long ago, like, or maybe how long after the cancellation in Florida did you get reached out or contacted about a new fight with Yoel?
Well, Safe was been working on it. Since I met Safe, I told him I was like, I want Yoel. Here's the thing with me: I like fights that I'm not supposed to win, because that's when I get a challenge. I love challenges, and half the fights that I've had, and I'm sure a lot of fighters would tell you about Joe Silva. That motherfucker made me do so many fights I didn't want to do. I'm like, I don't want to fight Brunson. I don't want to fight this guy. I don't want to fight this guy. I fought Whitaker on right after I fought Musashi, which was like 2 weeks or 3 weeks, and my dumbass manager at the time, Audie Attar, quoted, was like trying to get me to do it. I'm like, dude, I don't want to do this shit. And at the time I trained for 6, 7 camps, and I fought 5 times that year. So mentally and physically, I was tired, and I just remember saying, I don't want to do this, and they made me do it, and I ended up catching staph when I got to freaking Australia, and never been on antibiotics in my life. Went out there thinking I'm going to be okay because of antibiotics. Antibiotics fucked me up. End up losing. So I know the type of fights that, stylistically will bring the best out of me. And the goal right now is Izzy. I'm trying to get to him. And in doing so, I think taking out Yoel would solidify that spot. If they want to throw Darren Till out there, I would love to smash him too. But I'm just trying to climb the ranks, even though the ranking system is a joke. I got to play the game. And I'm just trying to climb the ladder. I know the fights that I've lost, I was the one to defeat myself, because in the fight game, with a lot of people, shitload of reporters don't get, it's mental, man. And when you defeat yourself first, whether you don't want to be in there or not, it fucks you up, because a big part of fighting, I would say 80% of it, is a mindset thing. So if I'm not going into fight saying, yeah, I'm excited about this, what do you think is going to happen? So being at Fortis, right now, where I'm sure you met Safe. He's just, we communicate really well, and we're building a solid foundation. And with the strength and conditioning program and just planning fights properly, because my mentality is like, I'll fight anybody. But, didn't realize there's a systematic way to do this. And I'm not trying to dodge anybody, but we're trying to get fights that make sense so we can get to the title shot. I want to fight the best guys. I love fighting guys like that because it brings the best out of me. It's like fighting Gegard. When I fought him, it brings the best out of me. I'm a freaking martial artist, so I love challenges like that. So I'm looking forward to this. I can't tell you how excited I am. I mean, I'm not even nervous, but I'm never going to take him lightly because, I mean, he's a tough son of a gun. What, he's like 80 years old and he hits like a tank. So it's going to be a good fight.
Yeah, what exactly made you want to fight him so much? Because I remember when we were in Vancouver and after you had beat Antonio Carlos Jr., I kind of asked what made sense for you next, and you mentioned the politics of the rankings and all that kind of stuff. But at that time, I think Jacare, Weidman, and Luke Rockhold were all moving up to 205, and there was looking at the division, hey, this could be a potential option for you. Ultimately, Jacare came back down and they gave you that fight, but this is the one that's been on your mind for seemingly a little while there. What about Yoel is so interesting to you, or do you see it as such a big challenge?
Because Yoel's one of the best. The dude's, I mean, he's an elite. This is the baddest, toughest, and now I'm realizing it's the best sport in the world. And why would I not want to test myself against the best? If I'm going to be in the best sport in the world, why would I not go up against the best? As a martial artist, it's about breaking through barriers. And as a kid, we were taught to do stuff like that, whether it's wood breaking, whether it's competing in tournaments. We always were taught to go through those mental barriers, whether something is very challenging, and to test oneself. So as a martial artist, I want to test myself. I'm not taking anybody else lightly to say guys that are ranked beneath me aren't better or whatever, because they're going to look at me as someone to gain access to the championship. But to me, it's what makes sense. What gets me excited. It what makes me go out there and put it all on the line. And it wasn't a head case situation. It was just being motivated. I'm very creative. So what I've learned over the years is that if that creativity is not being fed, then it's just downhill. I can't tell you how many times I wanted to quit. Luckily, I don't know how to quit. And right now, the chapter in my life is called urgency. And what that means for me is to get to a place I've never been, I got to do something I've never done. And that's completely stepping outside my comfort zone. So despite what, everyone could say, which it's just funny to me, I've learned that people have a career in waking up and talking shit. And I used to be sensitive towards, because I'm from New York and you can't say shit to someone's face and get away with it, fuck
Right.
you up for it. But, it's a part of the game, and I'm just learning how to play the game.
What did you think of Yoel's fight with Izzy?
Honestly, I watched 30 seconds and I couldn't watch it. I was bored.
Yeah.
But I get it. You have two dynamic guys that are very explosive. You're going to have hesitation, Izzy's very dynamic with his style. He's elusive, a little flat-footed, but he's very tricky and crafty, where Yoel is just explosive and crafty at the same time too. So with those two styles, it's like you can have that knockout within a second. So I think Izzy was playing it safe, and he was playing it safe as well. And in the result, made a boring fight. But you're gonna have those sometimes, and it's a part of the game too. It happens, to some people who are watching from the sidelines. They're like, "What the fuck is this?" To warriors and martial artists, they're gonna be like, "All right, I kind of get it. It sucks, but I get it."
Yeah, I mean, watching the fight, I was cage side for that one, and watching it live, I thought Yoel won 3-2. When I watched it back on TV, I thought it was 3-2 Izzy, but he's not close. I mean, it wasn't the most action-packed fight, but in multiple of these fights now, he's 1 round away from getting that belt, and it's just being, not enough on those nights, I guess, a little bit. So, but he's a guy that it's unpredictable. You don't know if you're going to get a fight like that out of him, or if he's going to come out, be very explosive, stuff like that. So, what kind of fight do you prepare for? I know you kind of prepare for all possibilities, but I guess what do you expect out of him now, especially with this 3 losses in a row? I'm assuming this is obviously a hugely important fight for him too.
I mean, every fight is dangerous. this can go so many ways. This can be a fight to get back on the map. This could be a money fight for him to just get a paycheck. Obviously, everyone's looking at me as the person to beat him to get that title contingency. So it can go so many ways, but a fight is a fight, man. And, it's doing your homework well. So when you go out there, it's who shows up, what shows up, and how you handle those situations. I don't know which Yoel is going to show up, but I can tell you that I'm prepared for any Yoel that show up. I just feel so confident in myself where my attributes are, really solidifying that connection with my body. It's just everything is just falling into place. And the best thing I can say is just no fucks given. It doesn't matter what you say. It doesn't matter what anyone else say. I mean, I was just explaining to my buddy the other night who's going through some thing with someone else, and I'm like, there's 7.5 billion people on the planet, maybe a little bit more. Do you think everyone's gonna like you? Like when you put a video on YouTube and you see how many X amount of likes and people are actually disliking, it's like, why would you try to please people? You know what I'm saying? So it goes back to just being yourself, which is hard for a lot of people. A lot of people can't be themselves. That's why you have fans, because people live vicariously through other people. Fan stands for fantasy. So when you understand bullshit like that, you just you differentiate yourself from the bullshit, and you walk a really cool path, because people are just people, and you got to just accept what it is. It is what it is. It's not going to be what it was, and it shouldn't be what it's not. People are people. People will always be people. We're fucking stupid. People will always be people. For your friends and your family that care about you, why wouldn't you give it attention? For the negative affirmation or negativity, is stupid. Well, it's easy to give it that. I'm sensitive, so I'm always going to give it attention, because I'm like, dude, I work my ass off. You don't know what I've been through. How are you going to talk shit? Of course I'm going to be sensitive. It's like you working hard on your dreams and your goal and your work, and then me coming and be like, dude, you suck at being a reporter. Of course it's going to fucking hurt,
Yeah.
So when you understand all the bullshit, man, you separate yourself from it. You're like a lion, and you're in a room filled with sheeps.
Those are some great words. Is this fight 3 rounds or 5 rounds? Do you know yet?
I have no fucking clue.
No,
But,
I'm trying to figure out. No one's got the answer yet.
I have no idea. But
what do you hope it is?
I'm
Are you
training
hoping
for championship, so.
Yeah, you're hoping it's 5 rounds, right? You want that main event, I'm sure, too, right?
Yeah, that'd be cool. I'll take a main event.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, do you think this is the one? If you look at middleweight now, I don't think it's unreasonable to think if you win this fight, especially impressively, you could be, right there for the title. We obviously have Hill and Whitaker fighting on the 25th.
Mm-hmm.
Izzy and Paulo Costa, we don't know when they're going to fight. Seems like maybe the Ultimate Fighter could come up, and I don't know how much that delays them potentially fighting. I honestly hope that they fight sooner, just so we can kind of get some progression going here. But if you look at the lay of the land there, I mean, do you think a win here could put you right there?
Absolutely, without a doubt. But I'm not trying to fight Yoel to survive. I'm trying to fight him, take him out, because I know if I do that, I'm getting a shot. But knowing how the UFC works, they'll probably do some dumb shit. Be like, oh, let's let you fight this guy first or some shit. But either way, we're prepared. I'm prepared mentally, physically. I'm still in the best shape of my life. I feel like I'm in my prime. I thought I was in my prime in 28. I'm definitely in my prime now, So regardless of what the UFC wants to give or what they want to throw, shit, I'm ready. I'm just ready to showcase those attributes. And a guy like Yoel, you got to go after him. You gotta fight him. And there's nowhere else. You got to fight him. I just want to go after him. I'm excited to go after him. I'm not gonna be reckless or careless, because that dude hits like a truck. But I'm trying to get that title shot. My main focus is to get to the champ. And I'm not even looking at the belt. Yeah, the belt comes with opportunities and all that shit. A bunch of fake folks. But Izzy is the trophy. I want to fight his style. That excites me more than a fucking belt. I'm a martial artist, man. The belt is a symbol of just, okay, you did it. But as a martial artist, you know what you're good at. And I fought black belts back in the day who sucked. And I'm like, well, you a black belt? So it's like, how good are you with a belt? You know what I'm saying? But his style, I fought that style my whole life. So I'm watching how he's outclassing everybody. They're like, how the fuck you guys don't know how to? It is what it is.
Yeah. So I assume you think he's still going to be the guy when you get there. He beats Paulo Costa. Maybe if Darren Till gets in there, you think he wins pretty much all those fights? Is he?
Say again, if he what?
Is he, has the belt when you get there? Do you think he beats Paulo Costa? He beats Darren Till if they fight? Do you think he beats pretty much all these guys and except you?
I hope so, because I want to get a crack at him.
Yeah.
And I'm even looking to fight those guys. I would love to get up to Till. Listen, when I fought Paulo Costa, I had no game plan, and I was picking him apart with a jab. So imagine if I go out there with the game plan. You know, he said that my mind was weak. My mind wasn't weak. I was just distracted. I was not scared of him. I was afraid to lose. And when you're afraid to lose, you fight to not lose. And when you fight to not lose, it's more of a defensive. But you know, he's a great fighter, man. He came after me. I think he cracked my rib the first round. So when he hit me again, you know, I fell. No excuses. You know, that's the thing about MMA. He got me. So for me to fight him again, that would be a huge honor. You know, whether he gets the strap or he fights me for the strap, I'm sure we'll meet again.
Definitely. And last thing I would ask before I let you go, Uriah, and really appreciate all the time. It seems like this fight with Yoel, from all indications, will be at the UFC Apex in Las Vegas. That means a smaller cage. That means no crowd. What do you think of all these elements? I know you're on the Ultimate Fighter, so you've been through both these things before, and you got one of the most legendary KOs of all time in that small cage. So maybe that feels like home to you, and you're pretty excited, maybe.
Hell yeah, I love it. I mean, no more dumbass people who win and shit. It's so fucking pathetic, dude. Like, the fuck are you doing just win? It's so stupid. Like, I thought soccer fans were bad. Jesus Christ. You meet some of these UFC fans, I can't even find a word. But, you know, I like it because there's no bullshit. You can hear everything. I've been in there before where, you know, in the Ultimate Fighter. And as far as the small cage, you know, local shows I fought before were small cage. So it's fine, man. Bruce Lee said it the best, you know, it's water. You have to adapt. You know, you put you in a small cage, you become the small cage. So I'm ready for anything. You know, I'm easy to adapt because I'm a martial artist. And it's about going out there and letting it all go, putting it on the line. And I'm ready to do so. I'm prepared to die. And I think when you're okay with death, you know, you radiate from it. It's a different feeling.
Awesome. Great words. Well, I think that's an awesome way to close it, man. I really appreciate you taking the time. I know you haven't done much media since, the Jacare fallout, so I appreciate you opening up and talking about this. And, I'm very glad to see you get this huge opportunity against Yoel. I think this is going to be an amazing fight, and a lot of people are really excited when they announced it.
Absolutely. Thank you, man.